Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to the Crowdsourced challenge. Thank goodness it's a Sunday. It is a Sunday, this is going to be good. Yes, it is a Sunday. Let's spin the wheel and see what pain awaits me today. I'm kind of hoping no GPS because I've not used GPS at all. Oh. Okay then. That's painful. I'll catch you guys in game where I won't be using money cheat anymore. Though I will make exceptions during streams when I want to show off a piece of equipment or something, and I'll need to money cheat that in just to show it off or something like that. Alrighty then, we're in game. We've got the John Deere on the go, and I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do today. We will probably go into mid-spring and start some seeding. Hopefully we'll get some actual seeding done. We do have the John Deere, not the John Deere, the Ford still ploughing up field 16. So we're kind of waiting on that to do its thing. In the meantime, we can go over and take care of the pigs because they have a cleanliness level of 0 and we do need to sort that out. So we'll bring the John Deere down and do that real quick. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to actually get some seeding done day 1 of mid-spring. Although the Ford still has quite a lot of work to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of ignore the fact the Ford is still going, and I'm going to just fast forward time once we get the pigs cleaned out, because we're going to need to deal with... We're going to need to ignore the having to deal with animals first thing every morning rule. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to just set time acceleration to 1. Because I think I can, if I want to accelerate to morning now. Nope. So we can just keep it on ×3 for now then. Because once we get the option to accelerate through till morning, I think it's 7 or 8 o'clock that pings. We can then worry about that. Somebody suggested no time acceleration as a rule, and that's actually one of the limitations I'm putting on the series. Is that I'm usually going to play with time acceleration on unless there's like some force majeure reason why I shouldn't, and yeah, having to skip through most of early spring was a good reason to not, and even then I had to cheat a bit to get spring to work properly, so that I could actually work the fields because it was still snowy, the ground was still frozen, had to manually delete the snow using command prompt, or using console commands. So spoiler alert there, I did cheat a small bit, but that was just to get the game playable again. Don't really count that as cheating as such. So that's the pigs sorted for cleanliness. It's not pinged yet, but it should. We obviously can't give them corn because I've got the bag of feed in the right place again. And it's just gonna... It's constantly trickle feeding the pigs, which is good. So let's get back up to the main yard and get ourselves set up to hopefully do some seeding. It'll probably be corn, and I have seen the comments on yesterday's video. I will fill the corn planter properly this time. I won't give up immediately. The reason I gave up immediately last time, and I probably will actually still use the front box, especially for corn. The reason I gave up so easily when I was doing the sugar beets was basically because I didn't need to fill the planter itself. With the front box on, and I know it was unrealistic, I know it's not something done in real life, and I know there were complaints about it. It was just something that I did because it was easier and it works in games, so why not do it? That's my usual argument. If it works, it works. It doesn't matter if it's realistic or not. If the game lets you do it, you can do it. So I might ping time acceleration up a bit so that we can get to the next day, and hopefully the weather will be a bit warmer. We can actually check real quick. 3 degrees, that should get the ground temperature up a bit, hopefully, because I need the soil temperature to be basically 3 or above. this cold winter is kind of screwing me over, because it's going to mean that I'll have less grass to mow in late spring. The first cut is going to be slim pickings, and that's going to be a silage cut to fill up the right silage bunk, which, as you can see, is getting quite slim on silage. We've only got 45,000 litres, and the cows do need feeding. They're actually quite good at the moment, but they do need feeding. So let's see, can we skip night? Nope. So let's just turn up the time acceleration a bit until we can skip night, skip to dawn. And hopefully... soil temperature is good. We can plant grass, and that's it. We can... corn we definitely can't plant right now. Sugar beet we could possibly get away with. How did the field of sugar beet do, actually? Because it might not have died. It didn't die, interestingly. So let's take off all of our feeding equipment and the front loader here, which comically is just going to be left in a line. Let's get just the beet planter on the back. Well, let's get the full seeding setup on, because I want to do corn as well, and the beets are going to be done fairly sharpish. So let's get front box on and the planter on. Kind of concerned that snow might just never go away. Now, one thing I am going to do with the planter is I'm going to ignore the fact that it can fertilize, because I don't want it to fertilize. I've just been handed tea and a donut. So I am a happy bunny. I'm going to have the donut when I'm finished recording, as a reward for, I don't know, being productive. I have, however, been entertaining myself this evening. I have been trolling Traff quite hard into doing a stream where he flies a Dash 8 in Flight Sim, despite not knowing how to fly a Dash 8. So I'm looking forward to that. That seems to be full now. That's probably as full as it's going to get. So let's fold this back up. Still, miraculously, there's no rule about not using muscles mode, and I don't know how. I have no idea how there's no rule yet about muscles mode. It's just not been pulled out of the thing. Good news on the grass front, though. You can see it's growing. That's something that I was concerned about. The fact that it's growing is definitely good news for me, because I was very, very worried that it just wouldn't grow at all. So we get to now actually get the beet field finished, because apparently it's not murdering the beets. The cold weather is not murdering the beets. That's good news. They're just not growing yet, and then once we get the beets in, we'll plant up some corn in field 15. And hope upon hope that it doesn't die. I think it might be warm enough that the corn just will not die now. There is like a temperature where it does die very quickly. There's a temperature where it dies slowly. There's a temperature where it doesn't die. I think we're at the point where it won't die now that it's 4 degrees. So let's get this unfolded. We need to wait. Here we go, unfolded, and we're planting. Now, when we are doing the corn, we will be putting in tram lines. I'm not going to do it for the beets, because I have found over time that tram lines and sugar beets don't go well together. They just, it ends up as a mess, and I get very confused when the beets won't harvest in certain areas. When I'm going over this field with the sprayer, by the way, what I'm going to do is kind of a bit cheaty. I'm going to put care wheels onto the tractor so that there is no possibility of actually getting tram lines going. And that will just allow me to get things sorted a bit easier and a bit faster. Now at the cornfield, field 16, I am going to be using GPS for the first time on this map, because I'm going to want... I think it's the first time I'll be using it on the map. I am going to want... the tram lines to be straight, basically. And I will be using care wheels for all of the spraying, just because it's easier to just swap on care wheels once. Probably onto the Ford. Still toying with the idea of swapping out the Fiat, and luckily the cows are just giving insane amounts of money now every day. And presumably breeding quite a lot. So that's kind of helpful and annoying at the same time. How many cows do we have? Still 100. We've got 212 sheep now, so they're putting out even more wool and grass, which is annoying. Lift that up, and I want this set on corn, please. I want that attached. How do I keypad 7 to activate the proceed HUD? And I want the semi-auto mode. The fertilizer. Whoa! The sprayer we have is how big? 15 meters, so it'll be on 15 meters here. And let's is it because I got... Why can I not put out the ridge markers? Why can I not put out the ridge markers? There we go, now it'll let me put out the ridge markers. So I'm going to ridge mark this, as well as use GPS. Just need to make sure the GPS is set correctly, actually. Work with auto is... that's not right. Shift course, work with down to 5 meters, please. Actually gonna set it to 4.9 just to be on the safe side. And we are now good. I don't know why it decided to shift itself up to 15, but it did. I'm gonna just keep going with GPS off to there. So this is track 3 of 3? No, it should be track 2 of 3. There we go. I don't know why it's decided to do some bits of tram lines in certain places and not in others, but oh well. Putting corn down, we're tram lining it as we go. Oh, it's because we lifted it. I see. So every time I lift it, it counts as a new one. Wait a second, I should just put this on GPS mode. Just realized this GPS mode that I wanted anyway. There we go. So now we're tramlining in style. I don't actually need the ridge markers down if I'm using GPS. You can see that I am cutting into the tram lines just a touch. It's not a big deal. It's not going to make much of a difference. And this should now go to 1 of 3. Yes, fantastic. It's now working the way that I want it to. I just need to remember the GPS controls. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've used it on keyboard. So the 15-meter tram lines, are kind of inconvenient, but at the same time they're actually kind of fine, because they're going to be close together, but not so close together that they're going to be super inconvenient and problematic. So this should be row 2 here. Yes, it is. Or lane 2. So this will be a tramline row. There we go. We're going to have most of the field tramlined here. I'm going to drink some tea while I'm going here. Delicious. So the downside of the way tramlines work in FS17, I kind of hope that to whoever made Proceed, I can't remember who you are, but I have a request for you. Please make it for 19, because this is one of the most interesting and useful mods I have ever had. It's just plain useful. GPS and Proceed go together so well. It's a mod pairing that just makes the game nicer. I mean, beautiful straight tram lines, no need to worry about course playing out a subsoiler like you had to do in 15. No need to worry about, oh, what if I'm screwing up when I'm doing spraying? Well, the tram lines are already there. It's very hard to make a mess when the tram lines are already there. It's just one of those really, really nice things that you can do with mods. That's why I love FarmSim sometimes, is the mod community and the ideas that come out are so far ahead of what the average Joe like me would think of. Because this is how you do this in real life, is you'd have a seeder that you could turn off individual rows on, and you'd just put the tram lines in as your seeding. You would be seeding with GPS. I may actually, because I'm using Proceed, remove GPS mod from, or remove the no GPS rule from the wheel. Just because it's kind of integral to how Proceed works well. Like, Proceed very much does rely on GPS mod to work very, very well. And this seeder's about the right size for it to just be nice and behave itself. The rear seeder is going to have some problems. It's going to kind of overcut some of the tram lines, but I think the way the tram line works, it shouldn't affect it too much. It's only if I had a cultivator or something on the front of the seeder that it would genuinely have some problems. So it's obviously going to cause a few problems when I get to the edges here, the way that I'm tramlining this up, but it's not a big deal. I don't mind too much. We're not losing like half the field to tram lines. We're losing bits, but not much. By the way, before anybody says it, I'm aware that I don't currently have a corn header for the combine. I'll buy it in the autumn because in my eyes, it's not an upgrade. It's a necessary piece of equipment that isn't upgrading anything. It's just allowing the combine to do extra jobs. It's not upgrading the combine as such. It's an alternative header for the combine. That's the way that I see headers anyway. It's just like, sure, they technically are upgrades, but they're pieces of equipment in their own right. They do the work, and the combine just kind of sorts the grain from the chaff, literally. The headers are what does the work, does the actual harvesting. So it doesn't change what the combine does, just changes what it does it with. The Ford's doing quite well in field 16. Field 15 is just looking beautiful now with the tram lines. There's a reason I love this mod, and there's a reason that I generally have it enabled. Especially if I'm using seasons, it just looks so good with seasons. It works so well with seasons. Especially if I'm using kind of decent sized equipment, like 5 meters plus, this works well. Any less, it kind of gets a bit questionable. We are definitely making good inroads, and I think to end the episode off, because we are coming up near that time, to end the episode off in a few minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just abandon this field temporarily, and tab over to the Bobcat, which I know you would never see in Ireland. I just felt like the JCB skid steers were a bit overused by me, and I wanted to have a skid steer, so bleh. I felt like the JCBs were small but overused. I was using them way too much, because every time I got the skid steer was always the JCB. I'm looking forward to the New Hollands and FS19. That's going to be very fun to use. They're a very interesting design. They are American, but I will use them. I'll probably spam them like I do the JCBs currently. But I'll tab over to the Bobcat and get that going, and actually muck out the cows a bit, because they need a bit of work done. They've been left overnight. The sheep will also need some mucking out, so let's how much time we got left? Let's actually do that now. So let's get the number one. Let's get the feed just backed out of here. Let's back it out into the shed, into the meadow, which I'm not allowed to mow anymore. So I'm gonna have to come up with a new way of getting grass for the cows. Let's grab the Bobcat, which should be over here somewhere, because I just abandoned it at one point. Where's the Bobcat? Bobcat, 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 Bobcat. I went in the wrong direction. That's fine. We do have the semi-tracked Bobcat. Because I felt like it needed tracks. And the convenience of this is it does allow me to actually give the cows grass in a somewhat believable manner. I know that some people, some cow farms do actually have Bobcats in Ireland and the UK. They're just quite rare. It's more often than not, if you see a skid steer, it'll be a JCB or a Case or even a John Deere or something like that. Almost never New Holland. I wasn't even aware New Holland made skid steers, as I was talking about previously. I think it was in yesterday's stream. I had no idea they made skid steers, so that was a nice bit of info for me when I saw the fact sheets coming out on Friday. Looking forward to giving that a go. Crap. Looking forward to giving that a go in FS19, a brand new skid steer, all shiny and new for me to probably flip. I'm not going to rule out the possibility of flipping everything until I get my hands on FS19 and try the physics out for myself firsthand. Because I thought the big bud was unflippable until I flipped it. You know, there comes a point where, yeah, I can play the game reasonably well. I'm not the best in the world, but I'm sure there's somebody who's worse than me somewhere. But I just have this innate ability to break everything. So we're gonna get manure piling up for next spring. So we're already thinking a year ahead of where we are. This manure is all going to be piled up for next spring, where we will hopefully have just almost too much manure. And hopefully we will actually need to have a shed over in the placeable yard, which I have bought. I think that was in the last video. I have purchased the placeable area, so I can start putting things in there. If I really need to, if I feel I need to, I can start putting a shed for manure in there. There will be a shed for something else in there for sure. But I can at least start storing stuff. Also, if you can hear clattering, that's my glasses, because they're right on top of my mouse cable. There we go. That's the probable clattering fixed. The clicking you're hearing now is just my keyboard. Which so many people mistake that as a mouse. No, it's my keyboard. It's just that it's just got that mousy click to it because it's got the blue switches. Because I likes my mechanical keyboard. I am one of those people who, now that I've used one, thinks that mechanical keyboards are just better than just the best thing since sliced bread. Excuse me. Thank you. I don't know how I got that stuck in the thing there, but I did. I'm also going to need to bring the magic brush through here and get rid of some hay that shouldn't be there. That got stuck there during the winter. Because occasionally you can glitch things in ways that shouldn't be happening. So that is the cows more or less sorted. I know they threw out a bit more grass, but I'm not going to put that as a major priority. Let's head over and just sort the sheep real quick because we're going onto the road. Let's get the beacon on. This thing doesn't have indicators. But I have seen weirder things driving down the road in Ireland. I've seen somebody driving basically an Amazon Profi hopper down the road. So driving a skid steer like this, I wouldn't rank this among the weirder things that I've seen. Yeah, I've genuinely just seen somebody chilled out. It was at Tesco one day, just chilling out, and here's a guy with a lawnmower going down the road. It wasn't even like a massive built-up area, it was at the edge of a town, so he was going somewhere on his lawnmower. It felt like I was in the Waterboy, with just this dude riding a lawnmower everywhere. It was really weird, but I just looked at it and said, well, that's Ireland for you. Redneck's gonna redneck, and Ireland has more than its fair share. Americans think they've got the only rednecks in the world, but I can tell you one thing for sure. American rednecks might use beer for everything. Irish rednecks will use super glue, zip ties, and probably a new engine for everything. Mainly because it's easier to fix something than it is to buy a new one. Sometimes. It's easier to jerry-rig something than to buy something super expensive that'll do the exact same thing. You can achieve with 6 zip ties, some chewing gum, and a bit of super glue. Hell, right now I'm actually testing a method to sort my joystick out. I'm running a little test on it at the moment. To see if it'll break. I've got some oil on the exterior, because the exterior is made of the same material as the interior. I want to see if it melts it slightly, because I want to get a bit more lubrication on the interior to try and fix an issue I've been having, because I think it's lubrication related, and if the oil doesn't melt the exterior, I'm going to just put a few drops into the interior and wiggle it about a bit and hope that that fixes the problem. But that is all we have time for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, leave your comments, thoughts, rules, suggestions, and various forms of abuse for me in the comments section below. I'll leave you by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 17, the Crowdsourced Challenge on Shamrock Valley. Until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.